Joe Rogan caught in a major controversy after tweeting this about Hamas when Joe Rogan posted a picture of a Newsweek article on X, formerly Twitter, with the headline, Hamas calls for an immediate end to war after Trump wins. The internet went wild. But here's the twist. A man who once believed Israel's actions amounted to genocide. As you'll hear in this clip, Rogan was outspoken on the issue. Yet, after his interview with Donald Trump, something changed.
I want to know what she was fired for. Because was it criticism of Israel? Was it, I mean, did she show that Edward Snowden video that he put up on Twitter that shows them drone bombing those kids that are, or those men, I should say, unarmed people that were walking towards the rubble that clearly weren't causing any danger to anybody?
Yeah,
they
right.
just bombed them.
Yeah, no, it's your duty. It's just like for Biden or whoever you like, you're supposed to cover up for them. Because
the whole thing is like they were always saying they're only targeting Hamas and everybody else is a casualty. Well, if those guys are just unarmed civilians and they're walking alone, that's what they appear to be.
Dresden. And
you just blast them from the sky with robots.
This is the tragedy of war.
Yeah, this is insane. And no one knows what to think now, because if you can't talk about that, if you can't say that's real, then you're saying that genocide is okay as long as we're doing it. And
that is what we're saying.
And if you're saying that from a perspective of someone who literally went through the Holocaust, or your people, your tribe, went through the fucking Holocaust, and now you're willing to do it?
I hope the irony's not lost on you.
It's so nuts. It's so hard to imagine that someone where a culture, like a country was like officially founded in, what, 47?
48.
48? Okay, officially founded. So that's so recent. and you guys are willing to do what was done to you that led you to believe that you needed to start your own country? You're willing to do that, at least on a small scale, in Gaza. Like, there's nothing left. If you see the videos, let's see some recent footage of Gaza.
Rogan's stance suddenly flipped. Then came the tweet. Rogan added the cryptic caption, "Well, will you look at that?" And just like that, his followers were ready to pounce. Why? Because in that moment, his tweet ignored the bigger, more complex story at hand. With tensions in the Israel-Palestine conflict escalating, his words landed like a spark on dry tinder, and social media lit up in response. Here's a look at some of the reactions. Hamas offered a ceasefire and safe return of all the hostages on October 8th, 2023. Netanyahu declined, and along with Blinken and Biden, have declined everyone since. Where have you been? Hamas has been calling for a ceasefire this whole time. Joe, well, will you look at that? And I think the article this man is talking about is this. Did you even read the article? It quotes a Hamas spokesperson saying, Palestinians look forward to an immediate cessation of the aggression against our people, especially in Gaza, and the blind support for the Zionist entity, Israel, must stop. Hamas does not say they will stop fighting. Hamas has literally been saying this same thing from the jump. Dushtik. Wow. Finally, Newsweek reports what Hamas has been saying and Israel has been ignoring. Rogan's tweet felt like an echo of ignorance, or worse, selective outrage. In a world where nuance is often lost, this post sparked more than just a debate about geopolitics. It opened the floodgates for a much-needed conversation about media bias, double standards, and who really gets to control the narrative.
The world's terrorists are the United States. Look what we did to Iraq. Look what we did to Libya. Libya, the most successful country in all of Africa. The guy created the eighth wonder of the world with the way how he delivered water and turned deserts into farmland. And everybody had a house and everybody had education and healthcare. And we turned it into a failed state run by terrorists with open slave markets. Who did that? Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton did that. And they'll never have to pay a price for that. Barack Obama, the most he'll do is go, yep, that was a mistake.
Now, why did they get rid of Gaddafi?
Because he was going to start a currency of Africa just for that was going to compete with the U.S. dollar and the euro, and they can't have that because the way the United States controls the world is because the United States dollar is the reserve currency of the world. So that's why they can put sanctions on all these countries. And so what they're doing, which they shouldn't do, they're weaponizing the U.S. dollar. And so like when countries want to trade with each other, they have to go take their currency, change it into U.S. dollars so they can trade. And a lot of it was based on the petrodollar, which, by the way, Saudi Arabia just quit. They didn't renew it. I don't know if you heard about that.
Yeah, I did hear about that.
So, and all of a sudden, CBS News is starting to do news stories about how Saudi Arabia was involved in 9/11. All of a sudden, 24 years later, all of a sudden, oh, you know what? Turns out there was something happened. And they're like, you mean 2 weeks after they decided to not renew the fucking petrodollar? Now CBS News is allowed to talk about that and investigate it, which when I talked about it, got demonetized. But anyway, so So that's why, because Gaddafi was doing that. He was going to set up a currency for all of Africa, and it was going to be based on have a gold standard. And so they're like, no, you're not. You're not fucking doing that. And they made up a bullshit thing like, we got to save the people. Whatever. You guys, they don't give a fuck about the people in America. They got veterans and everybody else living under every goddamn bridge in this country. You think if they gave a shit about those people, don't you think they'd start helping the people right outside the front door?
Right.
Instead of, no, we got to go help people in Libya, and we got to help people. It's about helping people in Ukraine, and it's about helping people in Taiwan, and it's about no. This is all about an upward transfer of money. This is about balkanizing countries and turning it over to BlackRock and Vanguard. That's what this is about.
Yeah.
As you just saw, Rogan's guests have repeatedly pointed out the major issues the world faces, and yet his tweet seems to show he's either completely missed the point or is pretending not to know the real story. Is it ignorance, or is it just easier to play dumb when you've got millions of people listening to your every word? So, what do you think about Joe Rogan's controversial tweet and the backlash that followed? Do you believe his sudden shift in perspective is genuine, or is he just playing into a narrative that fits his current guest list? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more breakdowns like this, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and share this with anyone you think needs to hear about it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.